Well, you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow.
It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it?
If I can take it, I can make it. My brother Pete used to say that. He used to think that I could do anything. He used to think that I was better than I am.
Who says you're not?
You cannot wish for a strong character and an easy life. Each is the price of the other.
It's one of the most things that I've learned over time is that almost all truly exceptional and mentally strong people have been through hell.
You know how. Stop waiting for life to be easy.
There's no excuses. There's no breaks. There's no days off. It doesn't happen.
If you want it, you gotta go get it.
It's your dream. If you want it to happen, get your butt up and make it happen. If you want it to happen, rise and grind.
No risk, no reward.
That you can't just wait for things to get perfect. You just go out and do stuff.
This is my time. This is my moment. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Ain't no such thing as tomorrow. We only got today.
Stop complaining about your current situation without putting in the effort to change it.
If you didn't withdraw in fear from everything that life threw at you, who could you become?
Life isn't fair. So what are you gonna do about it? I knew that no one was coming back to help me. No one was gonna miracle me to be somebody special. All my situations were on me now. It's solely on me.
Stop hoping for somebody to save you. You don't need another person lying to you. Things don't all add up. But you're resilient. Face some hard facts and you could have an incredible life.
And for many of you, this is your chance. This is your shot. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your opportunity. This is your place.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, and maybe not the next month. But only one thing is true. I will be champion one day. I promise. I promise.
By the way, limitations, motherfucker. Limitations are somebody without belief. And excuses are created because someone needs them.
17 years ago, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Necessity, in my opinion, is not the mother of invention. Refusing to accept things the way that they are is the mother of invention.
The world has a strange way of stepping aside when somebody says, I'll do it or die.
Instead of complaining, start doing.
All of you, I know you got him. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're gonna do it to try and be the best.
You ain't no boy no more. This ain't no base. This ain't no, I want to go party. Now it's time to create a legacy now. You had your fun. Now get to work.
It's dangerous out there. It's like, yeah, no kidding. It's more dangerous here if you stay with me.
Get back to work. It's time to get back to work.
Like if you're feeling any angst, it's because you don't love the process more than the results. You're thinking about $10,000 a month in AdSense instead of loving the dirt.
And a man provides.
But if you want to be part of that 1%, which I know all of you want to be, I'm sorry to say, you got to throw that balance in the wind. The only way you can do it is if you go all the way in.
I want you to spend all your energy on overcoming your weaknesses, because behind every weakness you overcome is another level of success.
No excuses in everything. You eliminate that, everything changes. You embrace accountability, and it's game over.
There is no magic bill. There is no magic out there. You cannot get around. You have to work and work and work.
You don't hate yourself. You don't think you suck. You're not the imposter. You're not insecure. Somebody taught you that.
When you start to build yourself up and start to have the one thing that we don't have is confidence.
Yep.
Real, authentic confidence from hard work. Everything else goes away.
But there's one common denominator in their failure. And after 160 of them, I truly believe that I found a common denominator of failure.
What's that?
It's so simple. Excuses. And let me share what I mean. Let's say you were failing at something. If you wake up tomorrow morning and blame the government, the environment, the weather, Joe Blow, if you blame anything or anyone else, you have no reason to change.
People who have the mental resiliency and the courage to face failure, that you will fail your way to greatness.
I got tired of losing. And I said, when is it gonna be my turn? And he said, it's been your turn. I hate when you gotta walk to the back, son. I hate when you can't get the car you wanted. I hate it as much as you hate it. But the problem is, I want it more than you want it.
And that's how you do it. You go and get after it. You don't make any excuses. All the time you're complaining, you could be instead hustling. You could be instead chasing your dream. You could be instead figuring out what you're doing wrong, trying to improve certain aspects of your life, getting your together, reading a book, meditating, something. Fucking something.
Success is not measured on the days when the sun shines. Success is measured on the dark, stormy, cloudy days. And if you can't absorb failure, you're never going to meet success. There's going to be bad days, there's going to be dark days, but you got to embrace it because that pain is what makes you stronger.
Do you think Elon Musk has work-life balance? No. Do you think Steve Jobs, when he was alive, had work-life balance? No. Do you think Bill Gates? No. Henry Ford? No. Original Heineken? No. So if none of those people that created the wealth of the world had work-life balance, why do you think you're going to have it? Why? Because you deserve it? I don't think so. You deserve what you get in life by working hard.
That most people allow their fear of failure, 80%, to outweigh their desire to succeed. When you're willing to fail again and again and again, when you make up your mind to become unstoppable, when you make up your mind to become a no matter what person, then that will then give birth to a part of yourself that you don't know right now.
People say you can't do that. You can do anything. We are God's highest form of creation. There is nothing on the planet that will equal us.
You don't start because you don't realize yet that the fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. There's nothing easy in life, worthwhile in life. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile. And it's not going to come to you, and it's not going to fall in your lap, and it's not going to be something that, oh my gosh, it just was so simple. It's always going to be difficult.
But guarantee this, I'll be back better than ever. Ha ha! Fuck you! Stay hard!
That the world belongs to those who can continue to work without seeing the result of their work. Continue to do without seeing the result of their doing. And it's really the person who can do that for the longest period of time. And that's usually because they're still getting leading indicators. It's just that it's amounting to a much bigger mountain. And so like if you want to do big shit, it takes a way longer period of time because the easy shit, the little hills, everyone conquers really quickly.
One simple fact. If you don't protect what belongs to you, then sooner or later it belongs to someone else. That goes for your land, your wallet, your home, your country, everything. It is your job as a man to protect it. The story of the whole goddamn world, and ain't nothing changing it.
You still got work to do. Stay on that basketball court. Stay on that football field. It's grind season, homie.
Every bad thing that has ever happened to you is your fault. Now, I use the word fault to shake people up that you are never, ever, ever, ever a victim unless you choose to be. everything in your life will change. You're always in control.
Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb.
Play to win. Don't play to avoid loss, because the things you fear are the things that's going to happen to you. Set that target on something positive. Work for it. Expect it. The will to win is nothing without the will to prepare to win. See, everybody wants to win, but are you willing to prepare to win?
Thinking, overthinking, and when you overthink, usually you don't go to the positive.
For 10 years, I heard every person I know making fun of me. I heard every person I know telling me that I was wasting my time. I heard I've had every I know when I tell them what we're gonna do, and by the way, we've done it by now, laughing face. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that.
How'd you become that guy?
You know what? I grew up not that guy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people put a title on me. They see me now as the guy that with his shirt off, who can do 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours, who can run 205 miles in 39 hours, who can do all this crazy shit. But what they don't understand is they don't understand the journey that it took me to get to this point. What got me to this point was I was just the opposite of what I am today. I was that guy who ran away from absolutely everything that I got in front of me. But not many people knew that. I had two people. Like the real me was like this. I had two options: to either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 55 years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed.
You gotta live intentionally, you've got to exceed expectations, and you got to be consistent. If you can do those three things, you will lead yourself very well.
Instead of the path of, least resistance, I started choosing the path of most resistance to prepare myself for the journey that was coming my way. And you realize through hard work, you can outwork anybody. But that's the part people don't want to dive into.
I will. Benjamin Disraeli once said, "Nothing can resist a human will that will stake even its existence on the extent of its purpose." Shortly put, I'll do it or die. See, that's powerful.
Sometimes you have to let other people's dreams for your life die for yours to live. And for me, it was like when I continued to every day not want to wake up, that was my wake up call, where I was like, either I continue to live this way and not want to be alive, or I just risk the fact that I'll die to everybody else.
It's easier to go from failure to success than it is from excuses to success.
Anytime I was in the gym, I was happy. Whatever's going on in my life, good or bad, I go to the gym, I exercise, and that for me is, exercise is the best form of medication. I always felt happy after a workout or after training, and she obviously saw that. So when I was stopped training, I was hanging around with the wrong people or whatever, I wasn't as happy as I would be. So I wanted me back in the gym and back training and back doing what I loved.
We ask audiences to identify the qualities of success. They generally come out with about 25 of them. And we identify them or ask them then to say to us, tell us which of these are attitudes and which are skills. Out of 25, 20 of them are always attitudes.
I'm just thinking how funny it is where I'm going to be tomorrow morning and my competition still drinking down their fears and they're, trying to escape their current reality, Friday night party. So they're going to go out there and party it up and everything else to find some relief to the stressful life they live in. That's a temporary relief. I'm working tonight for a permanent relief. That's why I laugh. I laugh at how much further I'm getting ahead of them.
To be at the point of your life where you don't care about being judged. You can be in a room of 1 million people and they all hate you, and you walk in and you go like this. Not because you're angry at them, because you know yourself, inside and out, and you know that you've put yourself through hell to be where you're at today. You've walked the walk, you've talked the talk, and you've walked the walk.
Don't let fear stop you. Make up your mind you're going to step out and do it. Stop and think of the number of people that are in jobs that they don't like and they're afraid to leave. This is a terrible way to live, and it's not necessary. And when we step out and do something, we gain an awareness, we develop an understanding. And like that, the fear is gone. Make up your mind that fear is not going to stop you from doing the thing you really want to do.
Coming here at night and, I don't know what it is about it, man. But man, it's just the air smells a little bit better right now. When you say you're gonna do something and then you follow through and you do it. Not at the end when you cross the marathon, you finish it, or your hands raised. I'm talking about right now. The small steps in between the big successes that everyone sees. No one sees this.
That's right, you gotta have your dreams. But let me tell you something, folks. Be careful about your dreams. Be very careful. Because you see, when you dream those dreams, when you write them down, when you put a date on it, when you list the obstacles which you have to overcome in order to get there, when you identify the people, the groups, and the organizations you need to work with in order to get there, when you spell out what you've got to know in order to reach your objectives, when you devise that plan of action, that game plan to get there, and when you write it down, what's in it for me, when you do all of those things, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be reaching some of those objectives. I can honestly look you in the eye and say that virtually every major objective I've ever set in my life has been reached. And I honestly believe that the rest of them will be reached.
That's all right, guys. You fall down, man. That's a good thing. See, the thing is, most people don't go hard enough to fall down. They don't go that far. It's too hard for them. They're not willing to pay the payment of pain today. It's too much for them. So they don't pay it today. Later in life, they pay it in regret. Coming up short in something, they pay it then. What I'm trying to say is, no matter who you are, everyone's going to pay that payment one way or another. You either pay it here on your terms, when no one's watching, or you pay it later coming up short. In here, I ensure I hit failure, so I don't hit failure out there. I'll fall down 10 times. Who gives a shit? As long as I get up the 11.
It's hard when you're not where you want to be in life, and if you're listening to this and you're just not satisfied with your position in life. It's hard to think that way. All you want is that thing, but you gotta somewhere along the line figure out how to enjoy yourself. Somewhere along the line, figure out how to just go as hard as you can, but also enjoy it. Try to enjoy it, because that changes the whole tone of the experience, and I think that makes you more successful.
He said, if you want to be special, you have to do the special things that the other players aren't willing to do.
Here's what you must learn to do. Accept the pain, but not the guilt. There's part of our head sometimes that tries to make us feel guilty if we've made a decision that's been painful, not just for us, but maybe even for other people. But it had to be made, because it's not pain that destroys you. It's guilt.
When I wake up in the morning, I don't think, am I motivated to go do what I'm supposed to do? No, I don't think about it for 1 millisecond. When the alarm clock goes off, I have no thought about whether this is easy, whether this is hard, whether I want to do it, whether I don't want to do it. None of that matters. It's an emotionless, thoughtless discipline. When the alarm clock goes off, you get up, you get out of bed, and you go do what you're supposed to do. I don't care how it feels. I don't care if it's easy or hard. It doesn't even matter to me. It's just a reaction, it's a discipline, and it's life. And that's the way I choose to live my life.
And the book, first chapter said, everything's fine. Chapter 2, everything's fine. Chapter 3, everything is just fine. Chapter 4, everything is still just fine. would you finish this book? And the answer was no. What kind of a book is this? So the book on your life story is not going to be this. It's going to be filled with the full dramas of the highs and the lows and the winter and the spring and the summer and the harvest.
That you have to do those things. You have to live in it. You have to be comfortable in it. And then maybe some of that shit will help you a little bit along the way.
But if you live this shit on a daily basis and you know how to calm your mind down, the self-talk will help. All that stuff will help. But usually we react. We have pain, we have suffering, we react. And we react about, get the out of here. We gotta go. It's those people who are able to control that feeling of flight and say, no, motherfucker, there's a way through this.
I think most people have the potential to be exceptional, and because most people are peculiar in their own way. They just stifle that because they want to be accepted by most people, but in so doing, never accomplish what they want to do because they conform. There's probably a lot of things about the world or even your world around you that you're like, this never made sense to me, but then you do it anyways. I think that a lot of innovation and a lot of what makes people exceptional is feeling, thinking that thought or seeing that thing and then being like, I don't think I'm going to follow that rule anymore.
What's the central part of your training? Is it running? Is it sparring? Or
central part is dodging the nightclubs and the parties and the girls. You want the truth? And being in the bed by yourself at 9 o'clock at night. If you can get by that, you'll make it. That's the truth. Now I tell you the truth. You talk all that running and hitting the bags and jogging and vitamins you want.
Mr. Rowley.
Dodging ladies is the main thing. Especially when you're pretty like me.
What makes one person a champion and the other one not?
Strive. It's the will. There's certain people that grow up with a tremendous hunger. When you grow up comfortably and in peace and happiness and all those things, that will produce a very balanced person, a good person. But it will not create the will and the determination and the hunger that you need to be the best in the world.
I'm alone and look at me. There's nobody around me. Nobody likes me, man. It is what it is. Sometimes in life, people are not going to be around you to motivate you. They're not going to be around you to push you, to celebrate you, to applaud you. You got to do it on your own.
Attitude goes a long way. So again, going back to this guy here, Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, passes away. 4 years has colon cancer, no one knows about it. He goes to the doctor. That means that this doesn't mean he's not taking care of his body. He's going to the doctor, but he doesn't advertise his pain. Sometimes it's just good not to advertise your pain. Sometimes it's good to not just tell the whole world what you're going through. I'm not telling you don't talk about it with a group of people. I'm not telling you have some private conversations with certain people. I do believe in the ability to have some kind of a form of a release. But the way people are doing it right now, posting everything on Instagram, all this other stuff, what's the point behind it? You need attention? Is that what you need? It's not necessarily mental toughness. Mental toughness people are not looking for attention. Mental toughness people are trying to get results. A big.
It's 2 a.m. right now. No one here. Mano to mano, me and you. And where we want to go tomorrow.
2 a.m., not a person's here. I can scream my ass off. No one hears me. I can cry. I can shit myself. I can put an honest day's work in here that more than anyone does in a week. And no one sees it. Because it's supposed to be that way. Not run by the clock. Run by our desire where we want to go tomorrow. Our competition's asleep right now. We're getting ahead of that competition.
Who walked the walk. And if you are someone who's ambitious, and this is me just talking specifically to you because there's only a few people who are watching this who really are, and you'll know that if it's you. You have to get used to being alone. Because there are seasons where you'll basically transition from one group of friends into another. And it's not even a group of friends. You'll usually transition from a group of friends into no friends. And then you'll find 1 or 2 people who are at a new level. And then sometimes those people introduce you to some of their friends. And if you keep walking and you keep outpacing, then that group will then start retiring past you. And then maybe one person stays with you, maybe no one does, and you'll have another lonely period. I'm saying this because I used to think that there was something wrong with me, when in reality, I just didn't understand what the nature of being exceptional meant.
And so I'm saying this purely from a definitional perspective. To be exceptional means that you are the exception. It means that you are not normal. And so it's normal for normal people to find you abnormal if you do things that are not normal. Don't let people who have mediocre goals deter you from taking actions that make you great, because it makes you different.
I just was someone who was like in a f***ed up situation, but you could channel all that energy that you have as a young person into something and get better at it. So I went from being someone who was incredibly insecure and basically a failure to someone who was really successful, and that gave me immense confidence and also a real understanding of the direct correlation between hard work and success.
The one thing that made me who I am today is being vulnerable. It's breaking myself down to the absolute rock bottom and being able to tell people who I am. And that's how I fixed it. Literally, you know, life created this person, me. Life created me to be this fucking person that I was back in the day. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not my fault. Now I gotta go back and fix this shit. You have to go back to where the shit started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. And that's when I was like, hey, I'm gonna go back and fix this though.
You gotta be honest with yourself
100%
about where you're at.
I don't believe in talent. I'm here because I worked hard my whole life. Without that work, no one in this room would know who I am except my family. So to all around the world watching, paying attention, and aspiring to be like one of us or even on the stage someday, put the work in and watch the magical ride you go on.
Your best work has to come when you're least motivated. I had to stop thinking normal. I had to stop thinking normal. I can no longer be a common man walking around doing common things. But no one taught me this stuff. It wasn't like I had, you know, I paid a trainer to come train me. Jenny Craig didn't come down and miracle my ass. None of this happened. It was on me. And that's the thing you have to realize. Everything you do, you may have some support, you may not, but it's on you. You have to make the decision whether you want to be a badass or whether you just want to be mediocre and everything's okay.
But those days, you realize that you didn't win the championship on that day, on that night. You won a championship that day when you got up, when you had 2 games or 4 games in 5 nights. You went up, you went to practice every single day. That's when you became a champion. Repeating those boring old habits every single day, performing your craft.
I always say this, the most driven individuals, they live a life for many years and certain times without balance. Everybody strives for balance, balance, balance. And in order to be that obsessed with something over and over again, you can't be the best at something and try to balance everything else around your life. There is going to be times where things are going to be out of balance. It just is.
I hate any entrepreneur that is like, you know, sad. like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always hard. Like, it's always going to be hard. It's hard when it's a bubble because everything's $150,000 for a $40,000 worker, right? It's hard when it blows because there's no money and nobody's buying and nobody's believing. It's always hard.
There's a difference between something missing and am I satisfied? Yeah. Right? Because I'm not satisfied. I mean, I always want to go. Like, I never get done with the end of the day and go, cool, mission accomplished. Like, it's like not even close.
Mental toughness isn't something that you sample. It's something that you live in every day. So when something hard would happen to these kids, like in Hell Week, it would draw on something that made them very insecure, and they look for comfort. Whenever hardness comes, and you don't know what it is, it may be different for you than it is for me, but you go back to your insecurities. And then when you go back to your insecurities, you then look for comfort within those insecurities. And we all look for that cookie that your mom used to give you when you were sad, when you were sick. We look for our wife or our husband. We look for comfort. It's in those moments you must retrain your mind to think differently in hell.
Dude, Achilles were like the kiss of death for athletes. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. It's a surgery that has to take place. The surgery has to go well, right? And then it's a tendon. I'm not dealing with anything that's muscular or things that I can control. I can't control a tendon. I don't know if I want to do it.
Got it.
I mean, it's a long process. But like, when I went in the trainer's room, my kids are in there, and they're looking at you and stuff, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, it's all right. Dad's gonna be all right. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. As a parent, you gotta set the example. You gotta set the example. This is another obstacle. This obstacle cannot define me. It's not gonna cripple me. It's not gonna be responsible for me stepping away for the game that I love. I'm gonna step away on my own terms. And that's when the decision was made that, you know what, I'm doing it.
Perception of a imagined future event. And the key part is imagined future event. We think and we feel like intellectual fears feel like primal fears in our body, which is there's danger, I shouldn't go and do this. And so it's like, I have this fear of failure, there's danger, I shouldn't go and try to create the life that I want. I shouldn't try to manifest the life that I want. When you look at a fear that is an intellectual fear and you say, okay, now that I've identified it, how do I overcome it? The key to it is you can't overcome something that doesn't exist. You are creating in your mind the boogeyman, and all day you are fighting the boogeyman. I was in so much fear that I was about to give up my entire passion and everything that I felt like I was born to do because I just wanted to go back to what was safe. And I think everybody feels it. And it's like, when you feel fear, we're always like, what's a hack? The only hack is you're gonna have to get yourself to a point where you're like, I have to do this or else I'm not going to be able to create the life that I really truly want.
Don't sweat the small stuff. The 1%ers, the 0.01, they sweat every single detail. Because the one thing they let slip, somebody is going to use that to their advantage. Somebody is going to make a big deal out of it, and they're gonna feel like they left something out. Everyone says, don't worry about the things that you can't control. Well, these individuals, they want to control everything they can control so the uncontrollable becomes more manageable to them. So if they pay attention to every single detail obsessively over and over and over again, then when the uncontrollable happens, they can have a better chance of controlling it.